Joining us now is attorney Phil Klein. He's the director of the Amistad Project, former Attorney General of Kansas and a great American. Phil, it's great to have you with us. Let's start with whistleblowers on all of those ballots before the election. How important is that testimony?
Well, it's hugely significant because there's absolutely no reason for ballots to be counted in Pennsylvania to be shipped from New York. So what he experienced is, and we believe through our evidence, that they loaded the wrong truck. They intended to load a different truck. But he's up there in New York at a postal facility that doesn't even process mail. In other words, they don't have the equipment. They don't have any intake. There's no reason for these bulk ballots as bulk mail in these bulk carriers put into these boxes to even be at this facility. And they load him up in his truck and they tell him to go to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. He drives down there, and typically the Postal Service is very efficient. They unload, they move you to the next stop. He waits in that parking lot for 6 hours without orders, and then they order him to Lancaster without unloading. What we believe happened is those ballots weren't supposed to be there, and they couldn't open that truck to let other people see what is inside the truck, which were completed ballots ready to be counted. And then another whistleblower later on election night, actually November 4th in the morning, sees the same type of bins of ballots coming in a late night ballot dump to be voted and counted in Delaware County, Pennsylvania. So, yes, this is deeply concerning. We've been investigating this now for several weeks. We've corroborated the story. We have corroborated with witness at that postal facility that ballots were being shipped, completed to Pennsylvania at several different times. So we're talking hundreds of thousands of ballots. And Lou, this evidence is available to us if we just ask the right people and demand answers. There's cameras at postal facilities. There's GPS tracking of those trucks. They have barcodes on seals on the trucks. There's all kinds of ways, if America wants to learn the truth and has the guts to face it, to dig this story out.
Well, I've already said that William Barr, the Attorney General, is a liar because of his statements today. He's also a liar because he took an oath, and he is not fulfilling that oath. Your thoughts about an Attorney General, a Justice Department, electoral crimes units, all sorts of people working in them, the FBI hearing these complaints and doing nothing. Who in the world are they working for now? Because they're not the ones doing the legwork that you and your project have been doing. This is straightforward. The evidence of fraud is almost everywhere.
I would say that it is as well, Lou, and I think the Attorney General merely answered the wrong question. I don't want to call into question what he said, but the media always asks this question. Have you seen fraud sufficient enough to overturn the election? Well, I'll tell you what. We've seen fraud sufficient enough that says we must investigate, and the evidence is in the ballots. We need to seize those ballots, and we can determine whether they were fraudulently cast. So it could have been very easily the Attorney General answering a question when really the right question is, has there been evidence of fraud? Yes. Yeah. Should it be investigated? Absolutely. And what is the next step in the investigation? It's getting those election officials who refuse to let us inside the doors to bust down those doors and grab those ballots and do the analysis on the ballots. So that's the right question, and I hope the Attorney General believes that as well. I don't know that he does not.
The Attorney General is a smart man by all accounts. Not smart enough to be honest, but a smart man. It would be akin, the nice way in which you were excusing him, it would be like saying only steal $900 from each person. That way you won't have grand theft over $1,000, and you can make quite a bit of money that way, couldn't you? The fact of the matter is that this is a crisis in our nation. We know that this is wrong. We know that the American people have been assaulted, maybe even by foreign entities that work in this as well as the radical Dems and the deep state. But we do know this. We have, as a nation, been violated. The electoral system that is supposed to work has been absolutely defaced by this scum who have decided to steal this election. What should we do now?
Well, we need to demand investigations and demand answers, and it has to happen quick, because what happens after every crime is they start cleaning up the evidence of the crime. And it has happened in all these urban centers with blue state officials where they radically altered the nature of the election.
Okay, so what should we do? We can't even get the Attorney General to acknowledge that a crime has been committed or may have been committed, or that he would use his precious resources in the political arm of the Democratic Party, that is the FBI, to investigate. What can the president do? What power can be brought forward? Is it the Supreme Court? Is it the White House? What must be done?
The Supreme Court can act to reverse this. There's strong evidence of a violation of equal protection in these blue states, and that needs to be brought forth to the court, and they need to act. Legislators can vote not to certify an election. And the question is not whether there's evidence of fraud to overturn it. The question is, do you believe we can have faith in this election? And I know every one of those in that seat that has looked at this has to answer no. We can't have faith. We can't certify.
Phil Klein, good to have you with us. Come back soon and keep up the great work. Thanks so much. Phil Klein.